Math 83, Unit 2, Lesson 4. We're going to find the x and y intercepts from a graph. So in number 1, we have the following graph given, and we need to find the x and y intercepts. Well, where the line crosses the x-axis, which is this horizontal axis right here, is this point. That is considered the x-intercept. That point is -3, 0. The y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, and that's this point right here. That's going to be the point 0, 4. In number 2, we need to also find the x and y intercepts from the graph. So given this graph, we can see that the line crosses the x-axis right here at this point, and that is the point 5, 0. And it crosses the y-axis at this point right here, and that is the point 0, 2. In number 3, we're given the following equation, y equals 4x minus 5. We want to find the slope and the y-intercept from this equation and then use them to graph the line. So in the lesson before, we saw that an equation has the form of y equals mx plus b when it's in slope-intercept form. So the number in front of x right here is our slope. Therefore, in our equation, the number in front of x right here, 4, would be our slope. B is our y-intercept. So in our equation, our y-intercept is right here, and it's always in the form of 0, comma, b, so 0, -5. And to graph this line, we always start by graphing the y-intercept, and that would be on the y-axis. So we plot the point 0, -5, and then we use the slope, which was 4, to find the second and third point. Since the slope is 4 and it's a whole number, the denominator would be 1, and our slope is always our rise over our run. So that's going to tell us that from this point of 0, -5, we're going to go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1, and then up 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1 to find the next 2 points. Now go ahead and connect them with a straight edge. We've connected our points here, and we can see that the line has a positive slope because it's going up left to right, and that matches with our slope of 4 being a positive slope. In number 4, we're given the equation y equals -3/2 x minus 5, and we want to find the slope and y-intercept and use them to graph the line. So in our equation, again, we're looking for our y equals mx plus b, where m is our slope. So our slope is right here in front of x. Our slope's going to be -3/2. And then our y-intercept is our b, and we have our y-intercept right here, and it's always x is equal to 0, and then 0, -5. So I'm going to go ahead and start by plotting the point 0, -5, and then I'm going to use the slope of -3/2 to graph the line. Well, if I were to attach the negative sign to the numerator, that means I would go down 3 and then to the right 2. Doing that puts me off the graph. Here, let me show you. I'll go down 1, 2, 3 over 2, and that puts me way down here. So since I'm off the graph, I can go ahead and try going in the other direction, and I can do that by attaching the negative to the denominator. That would tell me that I can go up 3 units and then to the left 2. So 1, 2, 3 up to the left 2, 1, 2, 3 up to the left 2. And there gives me a couple more points that are actually on my coordinate graph. Go ahead and connect the points and graph the line. Here we've graphed the line, and we can see that the line is going down left to right, just like our slope said it would, because we had a negative slope. So to summarize in this box, if we're given an equation of a line in slope-intercept form, it's going to look like y equals mx plus b. The number in front of x is our m. That's always going to be our slope. Our constant b is always going to be our y-intercept. And at our y-intercept, x is always going to equal 0. And at our x-intercept, y is always going to equal 0. So in part 3, we want to find the x and y-intercepts from an equation, and then we're going to use them to graph the line. This time our equation is not in slope-intercept form. Here we're just going to plug in zeros for both x and y to find our intercepts. So let's start with our x-intercept. To find our x-intercept, we know always that y is going to equal 0 at the x-intercept. So all we have to do is plug in 0 in place of y in our equation. So we have x minus 2, and then we're going to plug in 0 for y, and that's going to equal 4. Well, 2 times 0 is 0, so we just get x is equal to 4. And we can put that together as an ordered pair, and that would be the point 4, 0. I can go ahead and plot that point over here on the graph, and that would be my x-intercept. My y-intercept always has x equal to 0, so this time I'm going to plug 0 in place of x, and I'm going to get 0 minus 2y is going to equal 4. Well, to simplify this, we just have negative 2y is equal to 4, and then we have to solve for y. So we'll divide both sides by negative 2, and that gives us a y equal to 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. Putting that together, we have 0 for x and negative 2 for y. So our y-intercept is 0, negative 2, and we can plot that right here. Now go ahead and connect those points to graph your line. So here we've graphed our line using the intercepts. In number 6, we're going to find the x and y intercepts, and then we're going to use those intercepts to graph the line. If we're finding the x-intercept, we know that y is always equal to 0 at the x-intercept, so we're going to plug that in here in the equation. And we're going to get negative 2x plus 0 equals negative 6. To simplify, we get negative 2x is equal to negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 2, and x is going to equal 3. So we can put that together as our ordered pair of 3, 0. And then plot that point, which is right here on the x-axis. To find the y-intercept, x is equal to 0, so we're going to plug that in place of x in this equation, and we're going to get negative 2 times 0 plus y is going to equal negative 6. Negative 2 times 0 is 0, so we just get y is equal to negative 6, and we put those two values together to come up with our ordered pair of 0, negative 6. We can plot that point right here on the y-axis. So here I've connected the points and graphed the line using the intercepts. In number 7, we're going to do the same thing to find the x-intercept. We're going to plug in y is equal to 0, and we're going to plug that into right here into the equation, and we're going to get negative 5x plus 4 times 0 is equal to 20. 4 times 0 is 0, so we get a negative 5x is equal to 20. Divide both sides by negative 5, and x is going to be negative 4. So our ordered pair is going to be a negative 4, 0. And when we plot that on the x-axis, we can see our x-intercept is negative 4, 0. Now for our y-intercept, we're going to plug in x is equal to 0, and we're going to do that right here in this equation. And we're going to get a negative 5 times 0 plus 4y is equal to 20. Negative 5 times 0 is 0, so we get 4y is equal to 20. Divide both sides by 4, and y is going to equal 5. Put that together as our y-intercept, and we get 0, 5. Plotting that point up here on the y-axis is our y-intercept. Here we've connected the two intercepts and graphed the line. Now go ahead and try number 8 on your own, pause the video, and then come back and check your answer. So taking a look at number 8, When we plugged y equal to 0 into the equation, we got x is equal to 3, and that gives us the x-intercept of 3, 0. And then when we plugged in 0 for x to find our y-intercept, we got a y equal to 2, and that gives us the point 0, 2, which is our y-intercept. Connecting those points graphs our line. Now we're going to graph horizontal and vertical lines. We want to graph the line x equals -3. Well, if I make a little quick t-chart and we find values for x and y in our chart, we know that x is always equal to -3 no matter what. So if I put in a -3 in place of x, y can be any value because x is always going to equal -3. So I'm just going to plug in a 0 and a 1 for y. So when I graph those points, I get -3, 0 here and -3, 1 here, and I can go ahead and connect those and graph the line. So we can see here that anytime we have x equals a number, it's always going to be a vertical line. In 10, we're going to graph y equals 2. If I make a quick little t-chart, we know that y is always equal to 2, so no matter what x is, y is 2. I can plug any value in I want for x. I'll just do 0 and 1, but y remains 2. So when I plot those points of 0, 2 and 1, 2, I can go ahead and connect those 2 points and graph the line. When I connect the points, I see I have a horizontal line, and so anytime we have y equal to just a value or a constant, we're going to have a horizontal line. Here for numbers 11 and 12, go ahead and graph these on your own and then come back and check your answer. Here we have the graphs for numbers 11 and 12. 11 is the equation x equal to 4. So x is always 4. So if I make a little chart, I can plug in any value for y. I pick 0 and 1. I plot the point 4, 0 and the point 4, 1. Connect them and I can see I have a vertical line where x is always equal to 4. In number 12, y is always equal to -5. X can be anything I want. If I pick 0 and 1 to help me plot those points, I plot 0, -5 and 1, -5. I see I have a horizontal line where y is always equal to -5.